Good afternoon. This is Lindsay. It's February 13th, 2022. It's Sunday. And I thought I'd do a video today about more about narcissism and narcissistic abuse. And this topic, which I'll probably kind of stray from because there's so much to say about this topic of narcissism, but I want to talk about how they breadcrumb you, how they future fake, and how they inject feelings of guilt whenever something goes wrong in the relationship that you have with them. They try to make you feel guilty, like it's your fault, like you did something, when clearly they're the ones who are setting it up to try to get you to react. So, first of all, for example, say that you are involved with somebody and things are going pretty well, and then all of a sudden what might happen is that they'll just give you the silent treatment. All of a sudden they just ignore you, they stop talking to you, you no longer hear from them, no text, no anything, and you wonder what happened, what did I do, or why is that, what's going on. But they're not going to tell you why. Instead, what they'll do is they'll use indirect conversation or indirect things to hint at why they're upset with you, or why they're discarding you, or whatever. Mostly this is what happens in the discard phase, is they give out little hints and throw out little hints and clues as to why, but they never give you any direct answer or direct communication. That's something they're very good at doing. Because why? Because they know that you know what they're about. They know that you already figure out that they're narcissists, or that they have narcissistic qualities, traits, whatever. And so they know that, and they can't really, you've caught on to the point that there's not really a whole lot more that they can do to try to tease you or manipulate you, because you already know what they're about. And so it's not fun for them anymore, because you already know their game. It's not funny in a way. It is. This is funny because I know that I have people who have watched my videos in the past, and who I had a lot of followers, a lot of stalkers, because I go off on my rants and raves about narcissistic shit. And so with me, I feel like a lot of the times these relationships that I get involved with here, they always seem to be, in my opinion, not only because I'm also a targeted individual, but a survivor of narcissistic abuse and crazy relationships, So it's like I know I get targeted for this kind of thing because I'm empathy, because I have qualities of an empath. But when you talk about this kind of stuff and then you try to heal from it, which you do heal from it eventually, but they just keep on bringing it out in you to put you to the test. Like everything, you're gonna feel like of everything in your life after you've been through the hellfire and survived. Excuse me. The hiccups. It's like everything is a test. People in your life, they come and they go. It's like a test to see how you're going to react, to see how you're going to survive that particular scenario or whatever. And it can be extremely exhausting, physically, mentally draining. It takes a toll on your health, on your mental health, your physical health. Because you feel used, you feel worn out, you feel confused, you feel overwhelmed. And that's what this shit's all about, I tell you, because I've gone through it. And then, you're always asking yourself, what now? And what did I do this time? And why is that person? Like I said, when it comes to these narcissistic people, you don't get closure when something is ended and you catch them in a lie, or you figured something out and you call them out for it. You're not going to get any closure. But what happens is you might see that person again, but they're going to punish you. You're going to notice little subtle things of manipulation and punishment the next time you see them, so that they they're letting you know that they're pissed off, right? Kind of in an indirect, cruel way. They're letting you know that they're not happy, that they're upset that you are stepping on their ego, right? Because they want to think that they can get away with everything. They want to think that they're invincible to this kind of abuse, psychological abuse. But so they inject guilt trips on you. They make you feel guilty as if you're the one who caused everything to end. You're the one who's responsible for contacting them, or it's all up to you. They want to make you feel like it's all the ball's in your court all the time, so that they ultimately don't have to deal with any kind of failures, feelings of rejection or failure, when they know that what they've done to you is they've injected all these feelings of anxiety, rejection, humiliation, your feelings get hurt, things like that, because you feel you've been led on and whatnot. You may have invested some energy and time into that person. And that's happened to me in the past, so I know. And you feel like you feel defeated. And they want you to feel that way. They want you to feel drained and defeated and like you're no good. And you're no good for anybody. You're too complicated. Nobody understands you. Nobody's going to respect you. And that's how they try to make you feel, because they feel a lot of the times that if they can't be with you, then nobody can. Or that you're just simply not good enough for them. You're not in their league. They're too good for you, right? And how dare you think that you can think that you're better than them? They want to turn everything. It's as if they want to turn everything into a competition. They don't want you to be ahead. They don't want to see you as a partner, but instead they want to see you as like a rival. And you're gonna feel like, why? This is unhealthy. If you and I are in a healthy relationship, we wouldn't have to compete with each other. It doesn't have to be a contest. But with them, they want you to feel that everything's got to be a contest. Like, who can do this better? Who's better? It becomes exhausting. In normal people in relationships don't feel the need to have to prove themselves all the time, nor do they feel like they should have to compete. But when it comes to somebody who has these kinds of traits of narcissism, they do want you to feel that way, because it's always about them. It's always about how they feel, what they want, and your needs are always going to be left out in the corner, back burner. They don't really take into consideration that you are a human being. You're not a superhero. You're just a regular person who has faults and desires and needs and whatever, like everybody else, but you're far from perfect. But they seem to think that, when you start out with the love bombing stage, or when they elevate you to levels to make you feel so great and special, understand that that's just part of the trap to get you ensnared into their their web. Okay, they want to. That's how they do that. Is they kind of subtly love bomb you. It might be heavy love bombing. It might be subtle, but nonetheless, they want to make you feel secure so that they can have you as a source of supply. And then notice that after that happens, right, that all ends inevitably. It's not going to last. And then we start in with the devaluation, the mind fuckery, the gaslighting, which is usually part of the relationship from the get-go. You're going to notice gaslighting, but the mind fuckery, the things that they'll do to fuck with your head. It's like they get inside your mind and literally like fuck with your head, okay, to make you feel bad or to confuse you, and they do it on purpose. It's done to confuse you. It's all done on purpose. It's not an accident. The things that they set up to do to you as their victim. They don't know how to. They really don't want to have to commit to one person, because for them, notice how they're lazy. They don't. If they don't call you on the phone, but they can text you every once in a while with maybe an incomplete sentence or a simple hello, you might feel like that's really impersonal, especially after maybe you and that person were intimate. If they can't even have a conversation with you on the phone or things like that, you're going to start feeling real low because, it's like it makes you see that they have that there's laziness going on in the relationship, and they don't want to commit. They don't want to commit to one person because they want to have that freedom to be able to choose and play the field as long as they can, because they feel like they just don't want to have to put in the energy or effort to have one relationship and work on one relationship, because that's too much for them. They want to have the freedom to come and go and discard, devalue people and victims so that they don't have to worry about it. It's easier for them that way because they don't want to have to invest the energy or time that it takes to develop a real meaningful monogamous relationship with somebody. So they're going to make you feel like you're the one who's doing this. You're the one who's causing the problems. It's you. But ultimately, but that's not true, because when you try to bring this up with these people, they run, they go silent, they stonewall, they gray rock, they breadcrumb. And what is breadcrumbing? That's basically when they give you little tidbits of attention or admiration or whatever. Like you have to. They want to make you feel like you constantly have to work for the relationship, work for anything in the relationship. That goes for a phone call, a compliment, anything. They're gonna make you work really hard for that, and you start feeling like this is just stupid. It's ridiculous. They're very manipulative. They don't, you'll notice it something, you won't hear from them for days after you saw them, and maybe, so y'all had a nice date, you thought everything was well, maybe y'all became intimate, and then you don't hear from them again. They don't text you the next day. They don't text you. They just stop talking to you, and then maybe 2 weeks later they do. Okay, things like that's really bizarre. And what that basically means is that either they have another supply that they're grooming, which they probably were doing while they were with you, or they've discarded you. That's a pretty much indicative of being discarded by these people. They don't, normal people follow up. When you're first in a relationship with somebody, especially after you've been intimate with that person, you usually follow up with them because they know that it's going to make you feel. The reason they do that, and I'm talking about romantic relationships here, is that they want you to feel inadequate. They want you to feel like something's wrong with you, like you don't know, like you start feeling insecure. You'll start having all these feelings of insecurity, and you don't know why, what you did, but that's what they do because they don't want you. You probably didn't do anything. It might be their insecurities that they're projecting, but they just want you to feel, it's like a punishment almost, or it's very cruel, okay? Because you're not going to know what you did. You're not going to understand. And so that's kind of like you're not getting any kind of closure is what it feels like. Because, it's just, it makes you realize that you're not of any significance to them, that you're just another person that they can add to their harem garage if they want to, and that, discard you like a piece of trash. Is how you are going to ultimately feel when that happens. It's chaotic. It's confusing. They don't want to have to communicate effectively. Instead, they use secondhand indirect communication. They don't know how to use direct communication, or they're very bad at communicating. Most of these people are. They just little gestures and hints and clues about what's wrong, right? But never anything direct. So that's kind of what I'm talking about today. I know there's not really a specific category that I'm talking about as far as like, a title of what the video's about. I guess it's just basically about narcissism and, about these relationships and how they can be, because I've got my own personal experience and stories I could go into about what has happened to me in some of these instances over the years. And this stuff happened to me long before I ever knew what narcissism even was. You just kind of you pick up that something's not quite right, and you have these instincts about things, but you don't quite know how to define it. And with me, because I didn't even know what narcissism even really was, or I didn't know how to. Now I do. Now I do because of educating myself in my own experience. And that's what you have to do is, you've got to continue to educate yourself about these things, because these people are everywhere. They're everywhere, in the workplace, in the home, in your family, everywhere. And it's very, once you are aware of it, you can at least that's your protection to, protect yourself from it. And that's all I'm going to talk about today. Have a good day.